Okay, so this is a video on how to turn in your rhetorical triangle project and how to do the peer and self-assessment, how to do the rubrics, and all that fun stuff. So if you come into your Canvas and you scroll down, you'll see second quarter rhetorical triangle project. You can click on peer assessment. So your peer assessment has a couple of rules. One, it is your dry run. You're practicing for performing it for your authentic audience. And two, it is also a way for you to get feedback. Just quick note, if you do your peer assessment and it's not completely done or whatever, you won't get the full benefits from it. You do get 15 points for doing the peer assessment, and that is for you having somebody else do yours. You get 15 points, which means you have to have your project done either Wednesday or Friday so you can get the peer assessment done in class. So anyway, to do the peer assessment, you click on this document, make a copy, and then here is the rubric. So you would just pull this up, you would have your peer fill in their name, Casper, Morales, I don't know. And then you would present your project to your peer, and while you're presenting, the peer fills in this. So this is how the rubric works. Meaning or purpose. So one, the meaning is there. This just means you have a meaning. It makes sense. Two, the product has a purpose that it is trying to fulfill. So not only do you have a meaning or a message, but you actually have a purpose, something you hope to accomplish with the audience. This should be able to be expressed using a verb. Three, the purpose and meaning are clear and well thought out and well explained. So this means that you present it well. You can convey your message well. It makes sense, and it's not like haphazard or half done or not thought through. And then four, the purpose is supported by the structure, appeals to the audience, and rhetorical devices. The product is authentic and original. So this means that your purpose is well supported by pathos, ethos, or logos, by the rhetorical devices you used. This means that your product is original, applicable to you, a good project. Next is appeals to audience. So this means that appeals to audience, this means you just authentically present to the audience. This means you present to the audience that is your audience in mind. If you don't present to the audience that's your audience in mind, you present to the class. You use pathos, ethos, or logos. This means it's well done, well thought out. You use pathos, ethos, or logos well. This is the good presentation. Four means you connect to the audience, you engage the audience. You use pathos, ethos, and logos, so at least two out of the three, and they're effectively intertwined. That should be an I. That means they're effectively braided together. And then finally, rhetorical devices and strategies. One means you can identify that you use some in your product. Two means you use them correctly. Three means that you use them well and they support your purpose. And then four means that they work together with all of the parts. So basically, a standard average presentation is going to be a 3. If you do a good job, you will get a 3. Now, if you can demonstrate full understanding of all the objectives, you will get a 4. Now, for the peer needs to list 5 strengths about this project. First off, we always celebrate the strengths. Then just list one thing this project could improve, and then discuss the project and the rubric with your peer and help them in any way you can. Talk to each other. If you want to know more ways you can improve, you can talk about it. And that is how you do the peer assessment. Now, when you're going to go do the self-assessment, oh, by the way, I should mention, when you do the peer assessment, turn it in here, click submit, and then there's going to be a little tab that says Google Doc, click on it, and then turn it in as a Google Doc. Okay. So self-assessment. So you come over here, project self-assessment, final project turn-in. So like I have said before, you're going to have to submit multiple things in this portal, and that's okay. That's what I expect. You might submit up to 3, if not more, depending on how many things you need to submit for your project. But here is the self-assessment. Okay, so after you've completed your assignment, after you've presented to your audience, you're going to do a final grading of yourself, and you just highlight how you graded yourself. So like you would just highlight like this. Like I'm a 4, yay. And then here are the important questions. So this is where I will officially determine what grade you actually receive. So I'll look at your project, I'll grade it, but this right here, these questions will make the difference in between a 3 and a 4 for you. If you, most projects, I will give a 3, unless you can explain this very well. Okay, so for example, why did you give yourself the grade you did in meaning or purpose? Be sure to be specific and use quality text evidence from your project. So I might say, so for my project I have in mind, which I'm going to present to you, I might say, I think I earned a 4 because my purpose was to entertain stressed out procrastinators and make fun of them. I think I did a good job using pathos when it came to the pictures. Well, now I got into pathos, ethos, and logos. So that's in the pathos. Was to entertain stressed out procrastinators, make fun of them. I did a good job fulfilling this purpose because my audience laughed and they said it was memorable. So that would come from the evidence you turned in of your audience's reaction. I prefer like full on real evidence that's inarguable. I can't argue with it, but and let's see. How else can I supported? The purpose was also supported by my appeals to audience because I used pathos in the pictures. That's some imagery to support my message. I also used lots of exaggeration in the setup of the photos to support my message. And so you would continue doing that. And next question, why did you give yourself the grade you did in the appeals to audience section? So in order to get a 4, you have to explain how you use pathos, ethos, and logos. 2 out of 3. You just use 1, that's a 3. And you have to combine them effectively. So I gave myself a 4 because I used pathos in the pictures, like I mentioned above. And I'm going to give myself a 3 because I don't think I use ethos really well. I don't think I use ethos very well because I could have practiced my presentation more and presented myself with more authority. Yeah. let's see. I also didn't use any logos. So that's a 3. Yeah, I agree with that one. So you go down the list, like why did you give yourself the grade you did in the, this should be in the rhetorical devices and strategies. And then you would explain why. Section, be sure to be specific and use quality text evidence from your project. So I don't know that my rhetorical devices connect to my projects, my purpose. I'm going to give myself a 3 again. 3 because I don't think that my rhetorical devices fully helped me connect to my audience. On the other hand, I think I did a good job using pathos to connect to my audience. And just throwing it in for fun. In the future, I think I should be better prepared and I should practice presenting my project a little bit more. As mentioned above. I did use rhetorical devices in using repetition of procrastination. I also used a rhetorical question, and I used hyperboles, that's exaggeration, similes, and tried to use a metaphor. So I did use a lot of rhetorical devices. I also think my structure was good at fulfilling my purpose and connecting to my audience. How did your audience react to your project? What did they say about it? What did they like about it? Well, I haven't presented this project to my audience yet, but I will answer that with you in class. How would you use your project in the future? I would show it to students to make them laugh. How would you use the skills you learned while doing your project in the future? I learned how to present to an audience and be engaging, and I do that on a daily basis as a teacher. What was your favorite thing about doing this project? I loved taking pictures and coming up with creative ways to present. Okay, so anyway, that's an example. I just make sure you be specific and you use good text evidence. For example, I don't think I used very good text evidence on this one. I should have used more. But I use good text evidence on this one. Like I should give an example of these things. That's one thing I could do to improve. Obviously, I don't have the answer to that one. Okay, so that's an example of how your self-assessment should look. Okay, well, have fun. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully you flipped through whatever you need to do. And I will also include the link to this self-assessment in the comments. And good luck.